Good afternoon, students. We are going to start a new chapter, chapter 6 from geography. Chapter 6. Major domains of the earth. Major landforms of the earth. Landforms of the earth. So this is the chapter which we are going to start. This is from geography. In our previous chapter, we discussed about major spheres of the earth, major domains of the earth. And in this chapter, we are going to discuss the landforms of the earth. So, what kind of landforms do you see? Can anyone tell me? What kind of landforms do you see on earth? We see many different types of landforms. Okay, so we see hills, mountains, plateaus, rivers, valleys, mountain ranges, tributaries, distributaries. You all can also suggest some names. Plains, after running told plains. Yes. Then you have deltas, islands. You have trench, straits, many more. These are only some of the some of the landforms which we are going to discuss. Okay, which actually is coming in my mind. Okay, so we have hills, mountains, plateaus, valleys, rivers, islands, many landforms. Now the question is, why are there different landforms? Why do you think these different type of landforms are there? The question is, many more different landforms are there. Many different when we talk about them. Okay, but why is this situation? Why there are different landforms? Why it is so? Always there should be question in our mind. When we have question, then we can get answer and we can discover more things. I always told you, always try to think why, when, how these things are there. Always ask questions. So for asking question, the question should be there first in your mind, right? So the thing is, why is these different landforms are there? So for variation of landforms, we have two different processes. Okay, we have internal process and other is external process. Because of internal and external process, these landforms are created. What internal and external process? Where do this process take place? Where this process take place? So this is internal and external process takes place on earth. Where? On earth. We are talking about the landforms of earth. So this process also happens. Internal means inside the earth. External means on the surface of the earth. Okay. Now when we talk about the earth, our earth has, see, if this is the earth, our earth has many layers. We already discussed this in our previous chapter. So our earth has many layers. So the first layer, this first layer is called crust. Right? Then inside the crust, suppose this is the crust. Crust is very thin. Okay. This is the crust. Then we have mantle. Then we have mantle. This is the second layer of the earth. Mantle is the second layer of the earth. And this is core. This is core. This is the third layer of the earth. This is the crust. This thin one is the crust. Inside this is the mantle. And third layer is the core. Core is divided into two parts. Inner core, outer core. Okay, the core is having two parts. Now, when we see on the surface of the earth, what we find, it is very hard. That means the crust is the hard one. This is hard. Okay. But when we see inside this crust, when we talk about this mantle and core, these are actually having the lava, molten lava. You would have seen the lava eruption, right? The lava eruption from the volcano. So that lava, from where does it come? So basically that is inside the earth, inside the surface of the earth. So this all we are having molten lava, which is called magma. Okay. So this is molten lava, which is inside the earth surface. Now when you see this crust, okay, on this crust we have oceans also, and we have land also, right? We have land also and we have ocean also on the crust. Now when we talk about the lands, that land is not in one whole part. That land is having, that is basically in different plates. Suppose this is the surface of a land. Okay, so there are different plates. This is called tectonic plates, and these tectonic plates are kept like this. Okay, it is like this. Okay, these tectonic plates are basically joined and they form this surface of the earth. Okay, these tectonic plates are on lava. Inside the earth's surface, what is there? Molten lava. So on the lava, these tectonic plates are there. So what happens? Earth is also moving, right? It is also moving. So when it is moving, lava is not solid. Okay. For that you can understand like this. When you keep water in the bottle, when you keep water in some bottle, and when you will move that bottle, you will see that water inside the bottle is also moving, right? It happens the same way. Suppose earth is like a bottle and inside that lava is there. So when earth will move, the lava will also move. Yes. So when that lava is moving and the plates are kept on those lava, that plates will also move. Yes. So these tectonic plates keep moving. They always keep moving. So when they move, they form different types of landform. See, when they move, they collide with each other. Okay. Sometimes they collide with each other. So when they will collide like this, they will create mountain. When they will collide like this, they will create valley. So this is the internal process which happens every time inside the earth. It is continuously happening inside the earth. Okay. So that is the internal process which is happening. Okay. And this basically creates the landforms. So here it leads to the upliftment and sinking of the Earth's surface at several places. So this we already discussed. Uplifting, when I told when they collide, they can uplift like that. When the two plates are like this, and when they are colliding, it may have uplift each other. So when they uplift, they will create mountain. When they will sink like this, they will create valleys. So this happens. Okay, and this process is continuously going inside the earth. Now when we talk about the external process, that is internal process. Inside the earth it is happening. Okay. When we talk about the external process, what happens in the external process? So in that you see continuous wearing down, and rebuilding of land surface. In this what happens? Suppose this is the land surface. Suppose this is the land surface. Okay? Here some plateau is there like this. Now there is very heavy rain. When there is very heavy rain, what will happen? This is basically mud, soil which has rised up, right? So when there will be a lot of there will be heavy rain, the soil erosion will take place. The soil will wear away from here, right? It will wash away the soil. It will wash away the soil. When it is moving with the water, these will come with the water, right? This area is made of soil, mud. Now the heavy rainfall is coming and it is washing out the mud from here. Now when it will go with the water, but somewhere it will deposit. Somewhere, suppose it deposited here. process. What happens with the river also, you will see many of the stones, pebbles, sand, they all come with the water, river water, right? River water takes all sand, small pebbles, whatever come in its way, it take that with them, right? Now it will deposit it at some place. So when it will deposit it some place, a different kind of landform can be created. Okay, so like this you can see, because of the internal process of the earth and because of the external process of the earth, the landforms change. Also, new landforms are created. Also, some old landforms may vanish, right? They can wear off. So till here, any question? Till here, any question, anyone in internal process and external process? Is there any question? So by this we can understand that these landforms have been created because of these process, internal process and external process. Okay. So if you find any question, you may ask. Otherwise, I will move ahead with the topic. Now see, we discussed that internal process leads to the upliftment and sinking of the earth's surface at several places. That we discussed that how tectonic plates collide with each other and they uplift and sink and how they can create new landforms, right? Also we discussed about the external process, that continuous bearing down, like we discussed in the example, how the heavy rainfall is continuously wearing away the soil. It continuously wearing away the soil, rocks, small rocks, and it is depositing it at some place. So when it deposits it at some place, a new landform is being created. So basically it is rebuilding of land surface, right? So in external process, we discussed about two processes. If you see, so we discussed that this is the suppose some soil is there, some small pebbles, rocks are there. So and because of the heavy rain, this is heavy rain, this soil is washing away. The rocks are washing away and it is depositing it at some new place. It is again rebuilding the land surface, right? So in this, if you see, two processes happening. One is wearing away. Second is depositing. This deposition. Two processes happening. So one process, this wearing away, this process is erosion. This process is erosion. And again, these all are coming at one place. This is deposition. This is deposition. landform, that is erosion. Okay. Now, deposition. So, deposition is again the things are collecting at some place. That is basically deposition. So, when you see the surface is being lowered by the process of erosion. Process of erosion and rebuild by the process of deposition. So what happens when you see these objects are wearing away from this landform, right? So what is basically happening? When these objects will wear off, this surface will be lower down, right? Because of the heavy rainfall, this all soil, this all small stones, they are wearing away. So what is happening? This will slowly and gradually come down. It will be lowered, right? So this is erosion. In erosion, what happens? The land surface is being lowered down, right? Because the particles are breaking from that, right? The particles are wearing away from that. So because of that, that landform is being lowered down, right? And so in erosion, what happens? The land surface is being lowered down, and again it is rebuilt in the process of deposition. So it is again coming and it is collecting at this place and it is rebuilding the land surface. Earlier this land was flat. Now this land is changed into a plateau. So what happened? This is being rebuilt, right? So this is deposition. In deposition, the place is being rebuilt. The land surface is being rebuilt, and in erosion, the land surface being lowered. Okay. Any question till now, anyone? Any question till now? Erosion, deposition, internal process, external process. In these four topics, is there any question, any confusion, anyone? Otherwise, I will move ahead with the topic. No questions. Okay. Now the thing is, we know that erosion is happening. We know deposition is happening. But what do you think? The erosion and deposition, like suppose this is plateau, there are stones. Will they move by themselves? Do they have foot? They will move by themselves. Can soil and stone, they can move themselves? They cannot move themselves because they don't have foot, right? So there are some agents which are responsible for the movement of these things. Okay. So these agents are water, ice and wind. Running water, ice and wind. Now, as I discussed, I just told you that with river, when river is there, it is running water, right? So in that, whatever will come in its way, it will take it with it, right? Where small stones are there, sand, whatever will be there in its way it will take it. So like this it will take it with itself, and again it will put it, drop it at some place, right? So like this running water can be, running water is an agent for this erosion and deposition for this process. Okay. Also ice. When you see glaciers, glaciers are basically ice, right? They are frozen water. Now when they will melt, when the ice will melt, it will take the things with us, with them, right? Whatever will come, it will take it with them. Now the wind. When there is heavy wind, very like if you see cyclone or hurricanes, if we talk about that, that also take the things with them, right? If you go to desert area, you will find such winds are there that if you place your car at some place, okay, in the desert area, in the sand, after some time there will be wind and they will just cover it with the sand, and you will see sand dunes are created. So there you see the winds are responsible for making sand dunes. So because of that, in desert the people are lost. Many times the people are lost in the desert because the ways keep changing. How it keep changing? Like we are moving in a desert. This is desert area. Suppose like this. This is the desert. Okay. Now it is here. This is the sand dune. My voice is not coming. And you told me now that my voice is not coming. Others, are you facing the problem with my voice? Is there any problem? Am I audible to everyone? Divyanshu? Only Divyanshu is telling that my voice is not coming. Others are telling that I am audible. Okay, sometime it is not coming. So no one told me. No one told me that my voice is not coming. Now you remember. I don't know what is the problem with that. Okay. So suppose this is the desert area and this is the sand dune here. What will happen? There will be wind and this wind will take this sand. Now this sand will come and it will create sand dune here after some time. Understood? So this is always happening in the desert, and because of that the waves change. Okay, the place change. So because of till now, why you students were not telling me that I am not audible? When I discussed everything at the end of the class, you were telling me that ma'am, your voice is not coming. Till now, what were you doing? You people need to tell me at the starting, that your voice is not coming or the board is not clear. These things need to be told in the starting of the class, not at the end of the class. Be active, students. You need to be more active. Okay. So like this, if you see here in the desert, wind is responsible for the erosion and deposition. Okay. So like this, we have these agents like water, ice and wind who are actually responsible for the erosion and deposition. Do you have any questions in that? Okay, so what basically we are going to study in this chapter? In this chapter, we talked about many different landforms, right? Many different landforms we discussed, but we are not going to read all those landforms. The major landforms are, which we are going to study, are mountains, plateaus, plains. So these are the major landforms which we are going to study in this chapter. Okay. So I will end my class here only. In next class we are going to discuss what are mountains and about mountain. Okay. Thank you everyone.